This is Robin on the Road, your concierge for all things travel, and today I'd like to take you on the road with me for the house tour of Monticello, home of 3rd President Thomas Jefferson. Pack your bags, let's go! Entering the hall today is still impressive. At 18 feet 6 inches high, the hall was meant to impress and educate his guest. Getting to Monticello during Jefferson's time was an arduous and disliked task, as the mountain was over 800 feet high. Yet as many as 50 guests at a time would arrive. The hall was Jefferson's waiting room and lined with 28 chairs, so his guests could look upon his maps of South America, Africa, the colonies, and Virginia, mastodon fossils found in Kentucky, and busts of French thinkers, antlers from moose, deer, elk, and bighorn sheep. In 1803, as president, Jefferson will purchase the imperial rights to land west of the Mississippi from France for 3 cents an acre. This will eventually double the size of America and become known as the Louisiana Purchase. Lewis and Clark will head off with the core discovery in 1804 in hopes of finding a water passage to the Pacific. Think of it as that day's moon landing. Friendship medals are given to the Indian tribes they encounter along the way. They will return 3 years later with volumes of information, specimens, and even a few Native American tribesmen to meet Jefferson. The hall is now full of reproductions from their expedition. The artistry in the Great Hall is incredible. Half-moon windows, raised panel doors, beautiful crown molding. And remember those cannonballs we saw in the corner of the storage room? They are part of the Great Clock and are connected to a Chinese gong on the roof, which would go off hourly. The clock tells the time, but also the day of the week. Due to a miscalculation, Saturday had to be put below the floor into the storage room. Around the corner to the left, we enter what was once the book room, but post the sale of Jefferson's book collection will become the family sitting room. Martha Jefferson Randolph, Patsy, will teach her children. She has 12, from 1791 to 1818, in this room. She and the other women, plus 4 enslaved women, will try and keep up on the sewing and the mending at Monticello. During the War of 1812, the British will burn the White House, and that is where the Library of Congress is kept at that time. Struggling with his debts, Jefferson will sell 6,500 of his beloved books on a variety of subjects, and they will become the nucleus for the Library of Congress. Speaking of libraries, we now enter Jefferson's, and it will make up one of 3 rooms and the greenhouse that will be called his Sanctum Sanctorum. And it's in this room that Jefferson will draw up the plans for the University of Virginia. He orders an 1811 astronomical clock so he can keep accurate observations. And although deep in debt, he will collect another 2,000 books. The windows in this room and the one next door are from floor to ceiling so that he may step through onto a patio that he will call his greenhouse, where he will experiment with plants, even having success with citrus. The cabinet makes up Jefferson's bedroom, and it's where his office is located. A gadget nut and inventor, he owned at least 35 scientific instruments, including terrestrial and celestial globes, drafting and surveying equipment, and telescopes. With volumes of correspondence, he received over 1,200 letters in 1820 alone. He will invent the polygraph, a 2-pen copying machine making duplicates of some of the 19,000 letters he wrote. His joiners will make custom furniture like a desk with a revolving top or a revolving stand you can use whether seated or standing. His bed is at the center of the room, and it's made specifically for him. A closet is at the foot of the bed, and one of the indoor privies is at the head. Every morning, Jefferson would rise before dawn, make his own fire, and put his feet into a pan of ice water. To maximize light, he will use mirrors, but there is also an 18.5-foot high skylight. It's in this bed on July 4th, 1826, that he will pass away, the same day as his friend, 2nd President John Adams. As you leave the bedroom and head into the parlor, notice the double doors as you enter. When you open one door, both will open, still working on the original 1805 mechanism.
The Parlor is where evenings were spent with family and guests. Jefferson called music the favorite passion of my soul, and he played the violin, estimating he had practiced 13,000 hours. His daughter Patsy would play the harpsichord and his granddaughters the guitar. As you enjoy the art, look at the crown molding around the room and the attention to detail above the door, the fireplace mantel, and the parquet floor. And don't miss the camera obscura, precursor to taking photographs. It would project an image on the wall. The last room on our tour is the dining room, and as you step in, let it take your breath away. Jefferson had it repainted in 1815, and chrome yellow was fashionable at the time. Twice a day, enslaved butler Burrell Colbert would ring the bell for mealtime. Breakfast was at 8 a.m. and dinner at 4. French cuisine with some Virginia additions was served. Most everything was from Monticello, with some special items like olive oil, Parmesan cheese, and macaroni, Jefferson's word for pasta. As you head toward the exit, notice the silver that Jefferson had made, including the cup that bears his name. Also in the hallway is the family china. And if you turn around, there's a rotating door, another access point where only Burrell Colbert would be seen by Jefferson's guests, and the other slaves were unseen.
Thank you, fellow traveler, for joining me on the Monticello house tour. This is part of my Monticello deep dive video. Please check it out if you have a chance. And smack that bell and smash that like so that you won't miss any of my future videos. And check out my latest upload on the Ava Gardner Museum, a fantastic museum to one of the most beautiful, iconic actresses Hollywood's ever had. This is Robin on the Road, your concierge for all things travel, and I hope to see you out there for your own road adventure. Until then, safe travels.